Welcome everyone to the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley, where we share stories about education, innovation, and entrepreneurship. I am Andrew Ta, president of this eClub. This week we have a very special program from our very own Cecelia Babkirk. Cecelia has been a Rotarian since 1994. She has served twice as club president, has served in many district positions, including assistant governor, international service chair, vocational service chair, district grants chair, and as the district Rotary Foundation chair, a position she held through June 30th, 2017. She currently serves once again as the grants chair for District 5170. In addition, she is a member of the Rotary Foundation cadre of technical advisors, conducting audits and reviews of global grants to ensure good stewardship for the Rotary Foundation. In January 2018, Cecelia received the Distinguished Service Award, the highest honor granted by the Rotary Foundation for her service to Rotary District 5170 and the Rotary Foundation. Cecelia believes that the best way to experience the internationality of Rotary is to become involved in a Rotary grant project that includes travel as a component. In real life, Cecelia is a mortgage advisor with Opus Advisors Incorporated in San Jose, California. Without further ado, please take it away, Cecelia.
Thank you, Andrew, and good evening, everyone. It's great to be with you again and great to be the program again, which happens to me occasionally. You better all like it now, because in about 7.5 months, I'm going to be in a place where I may not be able to have this kind of a connection. We forget how blessed we are to be in the developed world in all of our locations where we have the opportunity to be connected to each other in this way. So without further ado, I'm going to talk about the Rotary Foundation, and the title of my program is The Rotary Foundation, What It Is, What It Does, and Why It Matters to Our Club. Because you have to make it relevant to your members, or else it means nothing. We've been having some discussions in our board meetings about projects that are looking for money and how best to support them, because we want our members to bring projects and to feel like we are being supportive in those efforts. So now, why is this? Oh, I know, darn it. Hold on just a moment. Pardon me for a moment while I go back and do the correct thing with this, which is make it a slideshow. Everyone see it now? Okay, so sorry for that little delay. The Rotary Foundation, a lot of people don't know what it is, including many of our members, because we have a lot of members who are new to Rotary and have had no experience with the foundation, so they don't really know what it is, what it does, and how we might connect with it. So the Rotary Foundation is part of our parent organization, Rotary International, and it is a tax-exempt, at least in the U.S., 501c3 charitable organization. And 501c3 is just simply the tax code under which all the rules for all the charitable organizations operate. It was founded by, at the time, past RI President Arch Clumpf in 1917. He was also one of the founding members of Rotary International, and he had a vision to create an endowment that could be used to fund humanitarian projects and scholarships in perpetuity. The mission and the purpose of the foundation, without getting into their lengthy mission statement, is to enable Rotarians to do good in the world. So the Rotary Foundation is actually our foundation. We contribute our money and we get to choose how to spend those contributions. The Rotary Foundation is the only foundation that operates in this way that any of us at a higher level in the organization has ever been able to find. I mean, unless if someone forms their own family foundation or charitable foundation because they have a lot of money, they get to choose, but nothing on this scale where Rotarians contribute money to the annual fund and they get money back later to use in humanitarian ways. I always like, and we'll see if this will work for us. This is what we do. I love those videos. Okay, so the Rotary Foundation has 3 significant programs. The best known, at least among Rotarians, is Polio Plus, because we've been at it for 30 years, almost 31 years, working hard to eradicate polio from the planet. We're getting very, very close, but we still have some time yet before that happens, and we are still going to have to continue our funding efforts to make it happen. We also do humanitarian grants and scholarships. This has been my focus for, at least 15 years of involvement with the Rotary Foundation and through all of my clubs that I've been in. And then they fund the Rotary Peace Centers. And we have people in our club who this is very near and dear to their heart, and they follow up on what's going on in the Peace Centers, which are, it's a tremendous effort, and someday we will see that it makes a difference. So our club, how does our club interact directly with the Rotary Foundation, TRF? And by the way, that is the official name, the Rotary Foundation. Mainly through humanitarian grants. We have district grants, which are usually smaller local projects, such as our Laptops for Good project for last year and this year are going to have been funded in part by a Rotary Foundation district grant. These are usually local projects, but they can be international. And in fact, the Rotary Club of San Jose does some very large district grants, $25,000, $30,000 at times, and they do great things with that money. And then there are global grants, which are usually larger international projects, such as the telemedicine and water projects that our board is currently taking a look at. And we've had programs, I believe, on both. So some of you will be familiar with those. those grants and those projects have to be, a minimum of $30,000. So it takes some doing to raise that kind of money, but it's not an impossibility. How do we take advantage of this program? We contribute to the foundation and we get a credit back from the foundation to be used for humanitarian grants or humanitarian projects. So a way to follow the money and to know how it all comes out is you make your contribution today. The Rotary Foundation invests that money for 3 years, and then, meaning our money plus all the other clubs and Rotarians in our district, actually every year that's about $750,000 to $800,000. So that money goes to the foundation, they keep it there, they invest it, they use the earnings plus other things to pay their operating expenses, and then 3 years later, 50% of those funds come back to Rotary District 5170 as a credit, and that credit is known as District Designated Funds, or DDF, which is a term that everybody hears about, but probably not very many people really understand what it is. But that is what it is. It's money that comes back to our district from our contributions. Now, unlike most other districts in the world, District 5170 gives a credit to each club according to its proportionate contributions over the past 3 years. So every club gets a portion of that DDF every year and has the right to use it in whatever way they want. And so that's why I say we are the only foundation where you can contribute money now and get it back later and be able to design your own project with it. And that's a very unique thing. So back to following the money, our club chooses how to use that credit for a district grant, such as Laptops for Good, or for a global grant for a larger sustainable project that is international. And we are considering some contributions to global grants, which may or may not happen in this year. They may be cash contributions. We can also transfer our DDF to another club's project of either a district grant or a global grant. So we have a lot of flexibility in how we use that money. So why should we do one type of project over another? It's all about matching. All of the funds, whether they are used as a district grant or as a global grant, receive some kind of a match. So in the case of district grants, our district matches every dollar of district designated funds with 25 cents. So we get at least a little bit of leverage in our contributions. And the reason it's only 25 cents is because of the way district grants are funded, which are basically a block grant of cash. DDF for global grants is matched 1-to-1 by the Rotary Foundation. So for every dollar of district designated funds in a global grant, it's going to get matched or doubled by the Rotary Foundation. So you would say, but our club doesn't receive enough DDF to do a global grant. And I would say, all we have to do is stretch a bit. We can contribute our DDF to another global grant project from another club, and it will get the 1-to-1 match. We can design our own project and find other clubs to contribute to our own global grant project. And that may sound like it's very difficult, but it's really not. And some of us in our club, that would be me, have Rotary contacts all over the United States and the world. And I mean, I have people that want to give us money. So we just have to figure out how we're going to do that someday. And by the way, we can contribute more to the Rotary Foundation, so we will get more DDF to use each year. And that's what this presentation is about, really, and you know, how we can do that in a way that is not prohibitive for everybody. So how can we contribute more? We could get every member of our club. We have about 40 members. to contribute $100 or more to the annual fund, which is the unrestricted fund of the Rotary Foundation. We could, if we wanted, contribute the proceeds of our fundraising efforts to the annual fund, or we could have a separate fundraiser to raise money for the annual fund. Making contributions is an easy thing to do, and if you use Rotary Direct, and you can get airline points, believe it or not, using your airline credit card or whatever credit card you choose to make your contribution through Rotary Direct. And even though the Rotary Direct sign-up says it has to be a minimum of $25 a month, our Rotary Foundation annual giving officer tells me that if people want to do 10, that would work as well. So 10 times 12 months is $120 a year. We would have $4,800 of contributions if each one of us just did $100 per year. And we would get half of that back in 3 years, especially if we continue to do that year after year for 3 years, so that we would have $2,400 available to use in projects that we designate, whether it's a district grant or a global grant. And so I think that that's a reasonable goal for our club for this year, and moving forward, we can inch it up, especially as our club grows. I think most of our members can afford $10 a month, and if you can afford more, great. I always make larger contributions, but that's just because I know the kind of good that it does when it gets into the project itself. If we're strategic in our giving, we don't have to ask members for money every time a project request is made. We're considering some project requests right now, and we have money in our treasury which we're considering using for matching of individual contributions. And while I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, why even have to ask our members if we are contributing regularly to the foundation? And of course, in a global grant, all of our funds can be matched as much as $1 to $1. So that in itself, I think, is a very motivating thing. And we can take that DDF and contribute to other clubs' projects, or we can create our own project, and the money can be used here and abroad. And it would be a great way to have engagement of all of our members throughout the world. We're a very unique club because we have members throughout the world, and they will be finding projects for us. So it's just something to think about. There are a couple of dates that are important in all this. I know Andrew thinks that it's only district grant dates that are important, and they are, because we have to use our money by those dates, and that date just passed. But for contributions made by December 1st of each year, each $20 contribution receives an entry. Oops, I missed and put "and" entry, but it really is supposed to be an entry into the drawing. It's a virtual drawing. In past years, the prizes have been a trip to the Uniendo America Project Fair and the Rotary Convention. So the prizes are significant, and the winner gets all expenses paid for 2 people. The other date, and this is the date that has to do with, this is our critical date for getting money back in the form of DDF, January 31st. The calculation for how much each club receives in the following year is based on contributions received and posted by the Rotary Foundation by January 31st. So these next few months I'm going to be focusing on this. And Roger, I want to thank you for keeping us on track about having a program about it, and Andrew for accommodating this. Oops, that went the wrong way. So our club's total giving over the past 3 years has been, in our first year of existence, $905. That was not bad for a first-year club that started with 20 or 25 members and really didn't have a lot of contact with the foundation. In 2016-17, it was $2,351. And in 2017, 2018, I believe it was actually a little more than $3,500, but I didn't have the number when I was preparing the slide. So that's what I'm using. And so the district takes those 3 years of DDF and averages them, divides them by the total that was contributed by all clubs in the district, and that tells us how much DDF we receive to use in projects. So this year, our goal, and it's published, it's actually in, Andrew had to put it in to our Club Central, is $4,000. So at $100 per member, this should be an easy goal to reach. And so I hope that you will all help us meet or exceed it. Now, is there recognition for your contribution? Yes. There are many, actually, levels of recognition, but the first one begins by becoming a Paul Harris Fellow, which is bestowed on someone who contributes a total of $1,000 to the foundation. Now, we are doing some points, what we call points matching, where some of us who have a lot of points are going to be matching our members' contributions up to the first $1,000. So if you're a new member and you've contributed, let's say $200, and this year you're going to contribute $100, when you make that contribution, it will be matched by 100 recognition points, and that will get you to the Paul Harris Fellow level much more quickly because you're getting it at double the speed. So what will happen next? You're going to receive an individualized email which will give your total contributions to date and letting you know when you reach the next when you will reach the next recognition level and how to make your contribution. And when we say the next recognition level, there is Paul Harris Fellow plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And when you get to plus 9, you are then a major donor. And that's really kind of a big deal because there aren't that many people who are, but it does happen, and it just happens by steady as you go, making that contribution each year. So if you want to know how to get started on Rotary Direct, you can go to rotary.org/myrotary and sign in. If you've not done that, you should do that and get a username and password. Navigate to the Rotary Foundation and set up a Rotary Direct account there, or write a check and mail it to the Rotary Foundation. Put your member number on the check, or it will take them a while to figure out who you are and that it should go to you. Or you can, I did not check with Heather on this, but I think she will help. Write a check and send it to our treasurer, Heather Shaw, and she will make sure that it gets to the foundation. So what's in it for you? Here is, wait a minute. Here's what's in it for you. Oops. And I want to thank you. If you have any questions, now is the time.
Perfect. Thank you, Cecelia. If you could stop the screen share and we can get all of our beautiful faces on the screen.
There we go.
Thank you so much. I always enjoy your explanations of how Foundation works because it's always nice to have another refresher. I'll start off the Q&A and then I'll open it up to Roger and Raquel for any questions. First off, would non-Rotarians be able to contribute to the annual fund?
Yes, non-Rotarians can contribute to any program of the Rotary Foundation. Annual Fund, Polio Plus, the area of focus, there are special restricted accounts for the areas of focus, the peace centers, it goes on and on. Now, our club will not get credit for that contribution unless they're a member. It's just the way it works, and I understand that.
Okay.
One of the things, by the way, I didn't mention, but for any of our club members, and we have a few of them who are working particularly at the tech companies, many of the tech companies will match contributions. And in fact, Google, for one, depending on the employee level, will match up to $6,000 a year. So if any of you happen to be watching this in the coming week and you want to know more about that, give me a call.
That's cool. Okay. Roger, Raquel, any questions / comments? Roger?
A couple questions. First of all, our club is around the world in terms of its membership. I know that in Canada, if you wish to get a tax receipt, you have to give to the Canadian branch of Rotary.
Yes.
And I would imagine that's similar in most countries.
Yes. Some countries do not have a mechanism like that, unfortunately, but in the countries that do, you can make a tax deductible contribution, and it all flows into the statistics that they keep on every member. So even though your contribution is going to Rotary Foundation Canada, it will show up in our what we call monthly contribution report by your name. So we will know that you're making that contribution.
Okay. Now, the second question is if I, because I'm quite interested in that prize before December 1st here. If I make the contribution to Canada's branch, how does it then go to the district so that they know that I've made the contribution and for every $20, the ticket goes into that barrel so it's possibly to be drawn?
That's a good question. And actually at the district, we believe in the four-way test, the first one of which is it the truth? So if you tell me that you have made a $100 contribution, I will tell our annual giving officer that you have, and we will get credit for for your contributions. But if you go online and make that contribution and can provide, you always get a receipt of some sort or a confirmation
Right.
online. And if you want to send that to me, then that would make it absolutely no question.
Okay. The next possible question is that we're talking about exchange rates here.
I realize that.
So if that $20, is that $20 Canadian or equivalent to $20 US, or is it only $20 US?
It's $20 US.
Okay. Just so that I'm looking at what other questions that, the people, other members that are around the world might ask.
Sure, of course, of course. And by the way, for those that are around the world, if you set it up on Rotary Direct for $100 US a month, or the international version of that, we will count the entire contribution for the year for purposes of the drawing.
Okay.
Our goal is not to make it hard for people.
Of course. I just, the purpose of my questions is so that it makes it easy for all the members so they don't have to scramble at the last moment
That's
to
right.
make their contribution.
Sure.
That's all my questions. Thank you, Cecelia.
Sure. Raquel?
Awesome. Thanks, Roger.
No, I think I already asked you anything that I wanted to know. So, no, I'm okay.
Okay, wonderful. In case I didn't
I
mention
care
it,
about
Raquel is the latest new member of our grants team at the district.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
I think the more of our members we have involved, the better for our club, because it means more of us understand how the Rotary Foundation works and why it can be a real benefit to us.
Of course. And what I should do is I should explain how come I'm moving around so much. And that is that we have a new little kitten. And she's just been all around me during this whole conversation.
It's okay. I was taking care of a friend's dog during one of these recordings, and I moved around so much that Rushton shut me off. So anyway, well, thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you, Cecelia, for taking the time to talk to us about Foundation and all of its inner workings. Thank you, everyone, for attending this meeting. Members, please remember to sign in and leave a comment or question in the discus below. Guests, please feel free to do the same and let us know what you think of our meeting. Cecelia, any last words you'd like to send us off with?
Write those checks. We will make good use of that money down the road, we promise.
As a millennial, I'll be on Rotary Direct.
Good boy.
Have a good weekend.
Okay.